But I tell you all that to tell you this about Usher. So as you may have picked up on from listening to me, despite my conversations about soulful R&B of the 1980s, I am a white dude. I'm a fat white dude. And generally speaking, in basketball, there aren't a lot of fat white dudes that play. This isn't Teen Wolf. Like in Teen Wolf, there's a morbidly obese dude playing basketball with a man wolf person. That doesn't happen in real life. In real life, it's usually like 14 black dudes and 1 white dude. Well, I was one of like 3 white dudes on the team. So I had to try to find ways to kind of endear myself to the black dudes on the team, right? That's kind of like, I was always nervous. Not that I'm afraid of black dudes by any means. I love black dudes. But when you're in high school and these dudes are like the gods of the school and some of them are going to play D1 basketball and you're just this kind of dopey white dude wearing goggles, you're like, oh God, how do I endear myself to these guys? Also, before I tell you how I endeared myself to those guys, I do want it to be known that I wore goggles. That's number 1, rec specs. Number 2, I was also the public address announcer for the basketball team. So I played.
You did the team introductions.
I did the intros.
Okay.
I was the PA
I see now.
announcer.
I know where this is going.
And I played. It was awesome. It was a great thing.
Did you also develop a nice hook shot just so you fit in your center? You know, maybe you wore number 33.
I wore number 41.
Specs. Did you develop the hook shot to try to maybe
totally? That's all I had.
In your way? Okay.
That's all I had. I was like, I couldn't even think about passing because if I did, I'd turn it over. So if I caught it in the post, hook shot. That's all I had. But anyway, there were these dudes that would go to every game when I would announce the starting lineups, and they would call me Jimmy the Greek the whole time. They go, Jimmy the Greek! Jimmy the Greek's in the game! Get him, Jimmy the Greek! I'm like, okay. They call me, I'm like, why am I Jimmy the Greek? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so back to Usher. Usher Raymond, 2004, Confessions, one of the greatest albums of all time, right? And I'd argue that if you look at the top 5 albums of the last 25 years, pop albums, Confessions is in the top 5. Somewhere right along with Teenage Dream, which is an amazing album featuring hit after hit after hit by Miss Katy Perry, and Born This Way would be another top 5 album of mine by Miss Lady Gaga, featuring songs like Born This Way and You and I and Judas. Really great album. And I'd make an argument for Red, the original version, not Taylor's version, because it's weird hearing a 35-year-old woman sing high school songs now. But the original version of Red was great. So anyway, I get on the bus one day, and I'm a big Ludacris guy. Ludacris is my dude. Ludacris, Nelly. Because early 2000s, late 90s rap R&B game, exponentially better than now. Like, you know what the R&B rap game is now? Post Malone. Did you see Post Malone last night?
He sang it with a country flair.
You know what Post Malone looks like? He looks like if Jelly Roll started mainlining Ozempic. And they're like, there he is. It's Post Malone. But anyway.
That's actually live for like the 2027 Super Bowl halftime show is Post Malone and Jelly Roll.
Yeah, and also, by the way, I don't dislike him. He's fine. He's got some solid jams. But there's a lot of bad rap / urban / R&B music now. It sucks now. It's just a bad era for it. Because everything's got to have a message, and it's all slow, and it all sounds the same. Go to the early, you know what the message was in the early 2000s? Good gracious, asses bodacious. Like, that's what it was. Shake your tail feather. You know, what you doing? Nothing, chilling at the Holiday Inn. Who you with me and my peeps, what you bring 4 of your French Ching-a-ling was on that song. Saint Lunatics. But anyway, so I was on the bus with these guys, and one day I just started doing the Ludacris hook in a song called Lovers and Friends. I'm just on the bus, and I'm like, watch this. And I said, this is going to endear me to these guys. I'm going to be their favorite white guy forever. So I said, all right, baby, look here. Sometime want to be your lover. Sometime want to be your friend. Sometime want to hug you, hold hands, slow dance with a record spin. Open up your heart 'cause you said I made you feel so comfortable. Used to play back then, now you all grown up like Rudy Huxtable. I could be your bub. You could beat me up. Play fight in the dark that we both make love. I do anything just to feel your butt. Why you got me so messed up? I don't know, but you got to stop tripping. Be a good girl now. Turn around and get these whippings. You know you like it like that. You don't have to fight back. Here's a pillow bite.
I don't know if this can keep going over YouTube.
Why? Am I going to get us knocked off for copyright infringement?
This might be copyright infringement.
Like,
I'm not sure.
There's no really Luda?
The problem is like if it's copyright infringement, does there have to be actual rhythm and like
hey, don't
to
be
it?
A dick. That's not nice. That's not nice. You do it. You go ahead.
couldn't.
Rocky.
I could not.
You gotta
I
have
could
rhythm.
not.
You
I
go
could
ahead and
not.
you do a ludicrous verse.
I was just going to say.
Stop, drop, kaboom, baby, rub on your nipples. Some call me ludicrous. Some call you. You do
The fact that you're not you're not stopping or resetting
ludicrous.
is unbelievably impressive
Look out,
right
my
now.
outfit's ridiculous in the club, looking so conspicuous, and wow, these women are on the prowl.
That's a good rhythm. That has some rhythm to it. I like that one.
If you hold the head steady, I'm a See, so I would do this on the bus, and then all the dudes on the team would go, Scooby, no! And they loved it. They called me Scooby. That was my nickname in high school. It's on my Letterman jacket. Scooby. Oh, they didn't even know my name.
So is Scooby, Jimmy the Greek, was there any other ones?
Horace. Now, when I would go on the road and play basketball games, I wore goggles. So people would call me Horace. They'd say, Horace Grant's here. Horace Grant's here. I'm like, why? I mean, I would say I'm more like I don't know, what's his name? Who's that white dude from the Lakers that wore the goggles?
Rudy Tomjanovich?
No, not Rudy Tomjanovich.
My apologies.
Kurt Rambis. Rudy Tomjanovich. Rudy Tomjanovich, he got assaulted by Kermit Washington. Like, literally assaulted on the basketball court. Like, destroyed his whole face and everything. Yeah. Where you at, Rocky-O? I know, listen, as a guy who wore goggles in high school, I know all the dudes who wore goggles.
The Rec Spec frat?
Yeah, oh, totally, man. I used to break my Rec Specs. Like, one time I threw them down on the ground and got a technical. Yeah. Anyway, there was a Super Bowl last night. I guess we can talk about that. All that to tell you this, Usher, good halftime show, solid musically, and Confessions, one of the top 5 albums of the last 25 years. When we come back, I will sing Burn in its entirety. Stay there. So I'm reading a text. Josh, I'd love to hear your take on how ridiculous the former Rams fans are for caring at all about the Super Bowl, and even more so, why the Chiefs are not our team, ! It's pitiful watching my friends lose their bleep over another team winning a game that means nothing to this region of the state. I hate the Chiefs, and I hate Kansas City. So I'm kind of confused by the message of this. Is this person intimating that they're annoyed that their friends are not Chiefs fans, or are they annoyed that their friends have converted to Chiefs fans? I can't really read it totally, but I will tell you this. Kansas City can kiss my ass, and I hope many of you also feel the same way. What did you take from that? Do you think this person was pro-Chiefs?
I think he's negative. I think he's anti-Chiefs.
Good.
Yes, I think he's
anti-Chiefs.
He's saying that he doesn't want. He thinks former St. Louis Ram fans shouldn't care about the Super Bowl at all, and he says that even more so it annoys him that Ram fans that have glommed on to the Chiefs and then are getting pumped up about a Super Bowl win.
First of all, as a kid, there was no football in the state when I started watching football. So I was into the Chiefs for a little bit as a kid. Derek Thomas is my favorite all-time football player. I used to have a poster on my wall that had Derek Thomas and Neil Smith. Rush Hour was the poster. Loved those guys. Loved all the crappy quarterbacks they had that couldn't win a damn playoff game. I'm old enough to remember that. I'm old enough to remember when Tony Gonzalez was a great tight end, but no one remembers him now because he's not banging Taylor Swift. But either way, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing, though. I moved on to Louisiana. I became a Saints fan because I moved there when I was 10 years old, and I lived there until I was 23, 24. My family still lives there, so I consider myself to be a Saints fan. That said, I'm a fan of St. Louis. This is a city that I always wanted to live in, always wanted to work in. Growing up, I was born in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. I've lived all over the place, but my family, for the most part, grandmas, aunts, uncles, all Poplar Bluff people. And we were St. Louis Cardinal baseball. We were Blues, and we were Rams. Because at that point in my life, Rams, or my grandpa, who is mainly the reason I'm into sports, my grandpa was a big red guy. Loved the big red. My dad was a big red guy. So when I watch Kansas City celebrating another Super Bowl, knowing that their Nepo baby owner, Clark Hunt, said that, St. Louis should have football. And then, when he had a chance to vote on it, didn't vote for St. Louis to have football. So back when that happened, I was on the radio in Philadelphia. And obviously nobody in Philadelphia cared if the Rams played in St. Louis, L.A., whatever. But I decided to dedicate a whole damn hour to it. And you wonder why I got fired. But I dedicated a whole damn hour to the fact that it was embarrassing and terrible for the people of St. Louis to lose another football team because the NFL essentially conspired, and Kroenke and all these guys were desperate to get the NFL out of St. Louis. I cannot watch the Chiefs on television and watch them win a Super Bowl and be happy about it. I refuse to be happy about it because people in St. Louis, great sports city. City of this size that's put 3 million people in a stadium for baseball year after year after year. Back in the mid-'80s, when nobody was doing that other than New York teams and L.A. teams, you know who was doing it? The Cardinals were doing it. Why? Because the people here in St. Louis are incredible sports fans. Blues fans fill up every game, and they have basically since the beginning of time. Soccer comes to town. You know what happens? The damn place is full. Battlehawks, 34,000 people to watch a fairy tale made-up football league in a crappy stadium. Why? Because we've got incredible sports fans here, and the people of this city did not deserve to lose a football team not once but twice. So screw Kansas City. And by the way, as I said on Friday, do you think that if, the Royals left Kansas City, which would anybody even notice? The Royals are obsolete and have been forever. But if the Royals left Kansas City, do you think that handful of people who are Royals fans would say, well, looks like I'm a Cardinals fan now? No, they'd hate you. Just like I hate the Chiefs, and just like a lot of people hate the Chiefs, and I want everyone to join me in hating the Chiefs because they're awful. They're loathsome, and I hate them. I'm petty. It's well documented that I'm petty. We've had this discussion before. I am extremely petty as it relates to that. Do you think that Kansas City is thrilled when the Cardinals win a World Series? Well, probably because the vast majority of the people in Kansas City are Cardinals fans.
Trust me, I was in Columbia during 2011, and I can vouch for the fact that, no, they were very much not happy at what was happening that year.
So they're allowed to dislike stuff that we have that's successful. But the second we don't have football, in part because their owner, and he can tell you whatever he wants, he's thrilled that there's no football in St. Louis because old Clark Hunt can come over here and be like, hey, guys, St. Louis, we're your team now. It's a big money thing. Of course it is. Kroenke can kiss my ass and kiss all of our asses. So the point being in all of this is I will forever be bitter about that because once you lose a football team, it essentially knocks your city down multiple pegs. And we don't need anything else that knocks our city down more pegs. I was reading a story today. We're not even number one in murder anymore. We're number 3. We can't even have that. We're 3rd in murder. Have you driven in downtown lately? If your tires aren't blown out because of a pothole, your brains are blown out because of a gunshot. So you want me to be happy for Kansas City because, oh, they won another Super Bowl. Screw them. And they will never be happy for the Cardinals if the Cardinals, who have a much better chance of ever winning a World Series again, as opposed to the Royals. I don't care how much money they paid Bobby Witt Jr. and how angry Cardinals Twitter is over it because we're poor now and the Royals are bigger spenders than us. The Royals people are never going to be happy for the Cardinals. And they would be just as happy to somehow steal the Blues from you and move them to Kansas City. They don't care about you. They hate you. And I hate them.
We have Courtney on the YouTube chat says, it's against the law here in St. Louis that no St. Louis sports fan cheer for anything Chicago or Kansas City. So I don't know where all these bandwagon Chiefs fans come from all of a sudden.
I swear, when I was a kid, I don't remember all of these Chiefs fans. And I'm not even talking about the Taylor Swift people. Like that, I get that. They come out of nowhere and a bunch of little girlies and all that, fine. But I'm talking about people who in this state are just magically Chiefs fans now that Pat Mahomes is there and they're good. Where were you when Lynn Elliott was missing kicks, bro?
Here's the thing, though. This isn't even the most egregious change, though, because if you look at what happens after Big Red leaves, there were people who became Cowboys fans in this town.
Yeah.
After what the Cowboys did to Big Red, after the calls that the Cowboys received in playoff games versus Big Red, it's interesting to me because I grew up and my dad was a St. Louis guy. Big Red leaves, he became a 49ers fan, which as like a 12-year-old in 2003 who's becoming a diehard Rams fan, I'm looking at my dad like, I'm sorry, you were a 49ers fan? I hate them. What are you talking about? And so it's always kind of been a weird thing in St. Louis how people choose to be fans after a sport leaves. But the Chiefs thing happened so perfectly. But at the same time, and maybe part of this is just people who, because for me, going to Columbia for school at Mizzou completely changed my perspective on Kansas City because I never thought about Kansas City growing up. But then I get to Columbia, Missouri, and I discover that everybody in Kansas City has a deep hatred for St. Louis that I had no idea about. And I'll be honest, that immediately changed how I view Kansas City.
Yes.
I kind of started my own hatred towards them.
Yes, we don't like them. There's a guy who made me hate Kansas City. His name is Bob Fesco. Bob Fesco used to be on the radio here, and I think he's a good radio guy. He's a nice guy. I know him. But Bob Fesco has a deep hatred for St. Louis. I'm guessing because he failed here, so he hates it. So he goes to Kansas City and becomes this weird rah-rah homer for Kansas City stuff. Like, I'll see his Twitter, and he's like, thank God for Taylor Swift and stuff like that. Like, Christ, dude, you're annoying. And I like him as a person, but his little act that he does on the radio I find to be extremely annoying. And his act is that of a gentleman who you would have thought this guy's a lifelong Kansas City sports fan. Like Royals this and Chiefs this.
Get over it! What the hell can we do in this world to have fun? Nothing! Because you're out there saying everything we say is wrong! Tired of it!
That's a good old Bob Fesco rant for you.
God. So, and I read his Twitter, and I just find it to be loathsome. Like, I get where you need to go to a city and you need to adopt the teams. Because, I've had to work on sports radio in multiple cities that I had nothing to do with before I went there.
I could have gone pumpkin picking!
God, I'm sorry. I just know those are in the system and I had to play them when you bring them up. Sorry.
But I would go to cities and I would say, I moved to Philadelphia. And I was on the radio there. And I tried to tell people, listen, I'm not a diehard Eagles fan. I hope you win because I work here and it's good for business. But I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan. Oh, that pisses them off. Oh, my God, what about 1-0 game 5? I'm like, yeah, we won. Screw you. Score a run. Score a run after the first inning. I would do that kind of stuff, and I was a Saints fan. My first game I attended in Philadelphia was a Saints playoff game in which the Saints beat them in the playoffs. Those are my teams. But you have to go to cities and kind of pretend like, you're at least kind of into the teams. Bob Fesco just decided to go over there, and you would have thought this guy was born at Arrowhead Stadium. Like, because he was conceived at Kauffman in the parking lot, and then he was crapped out of his mom's womb at Kauffman Stadium, delivered by Lynn Dawson. Like, Lenny Dawson's like, hot, hot. And then Bob Fesco is shot out of his mom's womb at Arrowhead. So, yes, I hate Kansas City. I hate them with a passion. So hey, look, if you're somebody that went to the bars down, hey, it's good for business. Hey, look, I respect the fact that it's good for business when the Chiefs are good here because the bar is good. I want people to be successful. I just hate Kansas City. Screw them. And I want you all to join me in feeling the same way because they hate you too. Just know that. They hate you, and they're thrilled that there's no football here. All right, we'll be back after this balloon party.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night, Super Bowl 58, the Chiefs over the 49ers, 25-22 in overtime. It was the Chiefs' third win in 5 years. Also, Patrick Mahomes' third Super Bowl MVP victory. The Blues over the weekend go 2-0 with a 3-1 win over the Sabres and a 7-2 win over the Canadiens. It'll be a Maple Leafs battle tomorrow, 6 p.m. puck drop. You can catch the pregame show right here on 101 ESPN starting at 5 p.m. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
So speaking of the Blues, good win yesterday, good win the day before. 2 wins to start the second half of the season. Still hard to erase the negative taste of the last game of the first half of the season, which was just god-awful, but they're playing much better hockey. And speaking of the Blues, who were they trolling yesterday? Were they trolling the Chiefs on social media? Were they trolling St. Louis fans? Because if so, that's a real dick move. Who were they trolling? They posted this picture of Taylor, just says, "Good luck, Taylor." So are they taking a shot at the Chiefs? Or are they legitimately just looking for online clout by including Taylor Swift in something? These are the questions I have. What do you think, Ron?
I think clicks move things, and I think that it was a smart tweet because you get every reaction possible. If you're Swiftie fans, you're like, "Oh, hey, look at the Blues." If you're just kind of like, you're thinking, maybe I retweet that just maybe you quote retweet and go, "What are they even planning here?"
Well, my first thought
it's
was
a bunch of different thoughts that generate, and so that's why I think they do it.
My first thought was they were trolling their own fans. Because, my problem is you put that up there, you know you're going to get a lot of negative reaction. And what's going to happen is you're going to make your own fans look stupid because a lot of them are just going to yell about it. And then your own fans look dumb. I don't like when teams troll their own people, although I don't know that I've ever seen it. But that felt like they were trolling their own fans.
See, for me, with the context that they then had another troll text later when the Chiefs didn't score a touchdown in the first half, and they had a comment like, "Still the only team in Missouri to score a touchdown today because they put up 7 against the Canadians." I just wonder if the social media person was just kind of in his bag and he was like, "Let's get some reactions today," because he's taking shots.
Sure.
He's taking shots at the Chiefs. He's throwing a very kind of pro Chiefs thing with Taylor at the beginning. I think the social media person was just kind of in their bag yesterday.
I hope so. I would hope they're not effing with the fans. Obviously, you and I were talking about it. I don't care for Taylor Swift musically, sexually, whatever. I just find her to be annoying now. I used to be a big fan. I was second row at the Taylor Swift concert on the Red Tour. Still have the video on my phone. I'll show it to you during the commercial. Best time ever.
How were her dance moves during that?
Okay, is equally as terrible as they are now. Okay. The thing that annoys me about Taylor Swift is you are not a sexual being.
Oh, come on.
Well, you're not. She's not a sexual being. But she tries. Ma'am, you can't. You have to embrace what you are. Beyonce is a sexual being. When she dances, you're like, I'm aroused.
Nerdy people can be nerdy, kind of awkward people like Taylor Swift can be sexual beings.
They can.
But
she's not.
Okay, fair.
She doesn't. And I don't know if this is my conspiracy or where this came from, but I also believe that she either wears a diaper on stage or she wears those padded underpants that make your ass look bigger because she has no ass.
It's hard with all the costume changes. She does a lot of wardrobe changes that are very fast. And so I feel like that could get in the way.
Yeah. But I'm not even someone that's like I'm never watching football again because she's on here. That doesn't bother me. I don't care about any of that. I get why the network show her. I'm not stupid or some meathead. I get it. But strictly from a musical standpoint, the music's not good anymore. And by the way, this gal, and I understand she got screwed over by her people initially, so how does she return the favor for getting screwed over? She starts putting out the same albums over and over again, just songs she recorded when she was 16 now from the standpoint of a 35-year-old gal, and her dumb fans will go out there and buy them all. I was at Target the other day, and there were 3 different copies of the same CD.
That's smart.
First of all, who buys CDs? Taylor Swift people, I guess, because they're stupid. And then secondly, it was the same album with 3 different covers, and they're all going to buy them. So, I guess it's brilliant. Well, how about Travis going after old Andy Reid last night, too? Old Ike Turner over there. Like, do you think she saw that? And she's like, God, I hope I don't piss him off.
That bother you a little?
It bothered me.
Did it?
It bothered. First of all, I just don't like Travis Kelce.
I don't like him bumping into Reid. The man's not. He's not a young man. Like, you can't be bumping into him. Although, I mean, I think it was the way they played it off at the end with him saying, you know, Travis keeps me young and things like that. And I think it was funny too if you saw the post game reaction at one point. Andy Reid like jumped on top of Chris Jones.
Yeah.
I think he was having fun with it, but you're like, it was a bad look in the moment. There's no doubt about that.
There's no doubt. Well, first of all, it was a dick thing to do. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, it's almost like you're trying to put on a show. Like, that to me, and this was not the case, but that's the kind of reaction a guy gives to someone when he's bet money on the game, and he's like, I need a touchdown. You heard the story a couple weeks ago about the dude that played at LSU, Keyshawn Butte, who bet on himself. He placed like 10,000 bets over the course of a year illegally because he was underaged, but he also bet on himself in the LSU-Florida State game and only had like 7 yards, and he started really getting pissy during that game. Well, now we know why. Like, that's that kind of reaction when I saw that. But do you think Andy Reid might have peed a little bit, like out of just shock whenever he knocked him around? Like, he's of that age, like a little tinkle. He's like, what the hell? Like, it came out of nowhere.
The man's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He can do whatever he wants.
That's fine. I think he tinkled a little bit. But the other problem I have, again, watching that, if I'm Taylor, I get, like, they're still in this young love stage of their relationship, but, like, that's got to make her think, like, like, what if I make him mad? What will he do to me? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that was my first thought is, everything's good until what's love got to do with it, and anime is eating the cake is all I'm saying. Eat the cake, anime. Like, I wonder if those thoughts were going through her mind, because those were going through my mind. That's all I'm saying. Also, speaking of
she's ever screamed at a production person like that?
Probably.
Maybe not that close to the face. Maybe didn't bump him, but you don't think she's ever screamed at a production person at a sound check?
Probably.
Come on.
I got so many thoughts on this.
We all have those moments. Just
I've had plenty.
They're not on national television.
I have broken many headphones in my day in disgust. Like, I throw them against the wall. I've done it since I've worked here over on Casey. Yeah, I know. I've broken a microphone arm. Look, we all got our moments.
Broke a mic arm?
Oh, I did. I like slammed it down and it broke.
No.
Yeah, I know. But fortunately, I had good enough ratings where they were like, that's just Josh. That's his process. When you don't have ratings, they think you're a lunatic when you break things. You break things when you have no numbers, and they're like, this guy.
Well, no, you're a tortured artist. If you're making a lot of money and you do something crazy, you're a tortured artist. If you're making no money and you do something crazy, you're just a lunatic.
Well, it's like Kanye. Back when Kanye was putting out like College Dropout, he was still a lunatic, but he was selling records.
It's like the 25th anniversary of that.
But when you're putting out, Bound. Actually, I shouldn't knock Bound. Bound 2 is a really good song. Yeah. Good song. But all that to tell you this, that I was really annoyed by the fact that Travis was the one that footed the $1 million bill for their suite. I feel like that goes against the Taylor Swift feminism movement. They could have at least gone in Dutch on that. So Travis, who makes nowhere near the money she makes, she's like a billionaire. Or at least closer to a billionaire than he is. I think that she should have stepped in and said, all right, hon, listen, I'm Taylor Swift. I've got a bunch of dumb girls that are going to go buy the same album 11 times. I'm rich. Let me buy this suite.
You got to think it's like you put it on the player's account. Like Travis says, hey, I need one of those. I need one of the suites. Can you figure that out for me? They go, sure. We put it on your account. She's got to like Venmo him back for that, right?
Look. She's the rich one. And I understand it. Like, you don't want to be the guy that has to have his old lady pick up the tab for things. Yeah. And I guarantee he calls her his old lady.
Maybe he wanted the points.
Listen, that's $1 million, bro. And you're rich. Ain't Taylor Swift rich? I mean, I feel like that's something you should understand in your relationship about the way the money works in your relationship. And the way the money should work in that relationship is that Taylor, big, ladies can do stuff now. She should have been the one that footed the bill for the suite, is all I'm saying. That would have been very progressive. And if they get married, he should be Travis Swift. Like, I'm all about progressiveness. Let's keep it progressive, man. Let's move forward. That's good. We're moving into this new century of, ladies empowerment and stuff. Girls watch football now. I mean, this is the world we're in, bro.
Travis Swift is a better football name than Travis Kelce. especially since apparently it's supposed to be Travis Kelce. So 100% Travis Swift, that's a better football name. In fact, you go into the Hall of Fame as Travis Swift, that just makes more sense to me. Like, you look at the stats, Travis Swift makes more sense.
What if he hyphenated it? Travis Kelce Swift.
Now that's a good name. I like a good hyphenate.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
I mean, every team's got 3 or 4 dudes with a hyphenated last name anyway.
Hall of Famer or presidential assassin, that works for either one.
I mean, look, let me put it this way. If Marquez's last name was just Scantling or Valdez, it wouldn't make sense. But Marquez Valdez Scantling, you're like, this guy.
You never hear about the 5'7" UCL running back by the name of Maurice Jones-Drew if it's just Maurice Drew.
No, I think he'd be selling cars his whole life.
He's not on TV.
He's a used car salesman.
Maurice Jones-Drew, though, that just snaps.
Mojo.
100%.
There's no mojo if there's no Maurice Jones. I guess technically it could be mojo if he were just Maurice Jones. But if it were just Maurice Drew, you can't be mojo.
I mean, come on. But like an undersized running back with the last name Jones. We got the Jones brothers. It's just it's not as unique.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas. There's no JTT without Jonathan Taylor Thomas. There's no home improvement. I will go so far as to say that there would be no home improvement if his name was just Jonathan Thomas. That's a take. I get it. That's a hot take. But I don't think there would have been a home improvement if there was not Jonathan Taylor Thomas or Zachary Ty Bryant. If his name was just, hey, I'm Zachary Ty, you'd be like, that's stupid. You have 2 first names. You're stupid. But Zachary Ty Bryant, you're like, okay. We got a hit here. We got a show.
I got to hyphenate.
I think you should. I think that's a must.
Yeah, I think that's how I change it up. All right.
Yeah, I think that's going to take you places.
That's the plan.
I mean, you're going to go from being just some dweeb that tweets about SLU basketball.
Passionate.
For whatever reason. What are you guys talking about? We should leave the Atlantic 10. What are you talking about? We should go back to the Missouri Valley. What?
We're getting a lot of text during the show, and I wasn't able to bring it up on this show.
I'm angry. I'm a passionate SLU basketball fan. Don't even get me started on Lindenwood. I got thoughts. Dope. All right. Well,
the crazy thing is, I send that text 100% because I do a podcast with Rammer, and I just know there's a group of like 12 people who are always tweeting to me, and I'm just gonna get all these people reactions and just see what they have, because we got a bunch of people on the YouTube chat and it takes off away from the show who just had a 10-minute argument about why SLU needs to go back to the MVC, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. I'm getting on Twitter and stamping this out. It was completely pointless, but that's my Twitter. I mean, what else?
You ever hear that story about how Rick Majerus showed his poop to the team to get them motivated?
I'd never heard that one.
You've never heard that story?
Never heard that.
So I think it was Rick Majerus. Like one time, I forgot if it was when he was a...
Has this been reported wildly?
Well, I mean, look it up. I think that Rick Majerus, former SLU coach, I don't know if this is when he was at SLU or when he was at, where was he, at Utah? I think at one point they claimed that he wiped his ass and then showed it to the team and was like, this is how you guys are playing. You're seeing it? You see it, don't you? And now you can't unsee it. Visualize it now. Rick Majerus' fat ass waddling out of the thing to try to motivate his players with poop. By the way, it's National Poop Day. Don't know if you guys knew that. So, look, what the look on your face. The look on your face. It's written all over your face. What did you read? Tell everybody what you read. What did you read?
So
What's in the box?
This was a story pulled from a Deadspin article. This is a quote. Not knowing what to expect, we sat back eagerly awaiting his next move. What happened next still haunts me to this day. Majerus took the towel, pulled his pants down, and quickly took a dump into the towel, which he was holding under his ass. After he was done with he used part of the towel to wipe, wrapped it up, and handed it back to the manager and told him to throw it away. The kid looked like a deer in giant Rick Majerus headlights. The whole room was silent. Rick just pulled his pants up and went back to the scout, never once mentioning it or acting like anything out of the ordinary had happened.
I mean, there had to have been a maintenance wipe that he would need to do at some point in that, I would think. Where was he coaching at the time? Was that at Utah? Where else did he coach? Utah, SLU, somewhere else. And being a fat guy myself, that's a tough move to pull off. It's already difficult enough being fat. Imagine being a fat guy. And how big was this towel? Did he poop into a beach towel? A rag? I don't know. So I don't know where he coached. Look, so there you go. All that to tell you that if you want hot takes on SLU basketball, you need to follow Rockio on Twitter because he's got the hottest of takes. And don't be fooled by his little commentary here that he's doing it just to troll people. He's truly passionate about conversations of SLU and whether or not they should move out of the Atlantic 10. They're in the Atlantic 10, right?
Yep.
I love it when schools get into conferences once they're irrelevant conferences now. Like when I was in Houston, they all wanted to get into the Big 12. Houston's got to get to the Big 12. Now they're in the Big 12. You know what the Big 12 is now? The AAC. It's not even the Big 12 anymore.
Cincinnati in 1961 is the last time the MVC won a national championship.
So there you go. So when's the last time SLU won a national championship?
They've won like the 40s?
Did they?
Or like the 30s or something like that? I don't think so.
Did they ever win a championship in an era where black people were allowed to play?
I don't think so.
Okay, then they haven't won a championship. All right, no need to Google it. We're way behind anyway. If you don't know that off the top of your head, you're not a real Billiken, so that's fine.
I've never claimed. I'm not really a SLU basketball fan. It's the basketball team in town that I like to watch and cover, and so I went to Mizzou. I'm not really a Billiken fan. I just enjoy watching them and having really dumb conversations.
That's how he gets around the fact that he angrily tweets about SLU and is truly passionate about it. That's what people do. When you're passionate about something,
you're 100% correct.
Then people make fun of you for it. You're like, it's just a goof.
Just a goof, yeah.
I'm just messing around, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah. There's not a lot of things I'm nerdy and passionate about.
That's like me talking about like Teen Wolf, the movie, not the TV show. I'm extremely passionate about the movie Teen Wolf and Back to the Future. Basically, the pictures of Michael J. Fox, 85 to 88, which would also include The Secret of My Success, which is another great one, too. 90s Michael J. Fox, not much there. But 85 to 88-ish Michael J. Fox, you got gold. All right, we went way too long there. Anyway, there was a Super Bowl yesterday. Chiefs won. Go Kansas City. All right, back after this. seconds here. You were just talking about that Volkswagen commercial.
You can't start your history in the 1950s if you're Volkswagen. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could in theory in the 50s. The 50s, it was at least past, where it was really terrible to be a German. But, back in like the 40s, that's no good. And then I believe that, was it I Am, I Said? Was that the song they played in the commercial?
I believe so,
That's
yeah.
Neil Diamond. I'm fairly certain Neil Diamond is Jewish. Or at least he was Jewish in The Jazz Singer. But I Am, I Said's a banger, by the way. But like Sundays are for playing Yahtzee and listening to Neil Diamond in my home. LA's fine, the sun shines.
He is a member of the tribe.
He is. Look at that. Tribe called Quest?
No, not that one.
Oh, okay. He's in the Jewish tribe.
Yes, that one.
Also, again, I will speak on this every day for the rest of my life. I don't understand how a fan base of a team named after Native Americans refers to themselves as a kingdom. They're not a monarchy. I don't believe, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay? Native Americans are not part of a monarchy. Like if you said, hey, we are like King's Kingdom, that would make sense. It would be redundant and stupid, but it would make sense at least. Chief's Kingdom is stupid. It's no cardinal nation. It's not. All right, see you later. Bye.